Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cosplay Crunch. Each week, we sit down to talk about all things cosplay, including personal experiences, useful tips and advice, horror stories and hot takes, and sometimes the latest news and drama. I am your host, Zavage Cosplay, and this week on the podcast, we have the lovely and talented Falafel Cosplay, aka Karena. Welcome, sis.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get into the goodness, maybe even the badness. Who knows?
Not the badness. I know.
Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here. Oh my gosh. So, okay, like I've been saying to everyone, but it really is true. For this season, I selected people that I knew I loved, first of all, and that I knew would be excellent fits for me to start off this journey of this show, because I wanted people that I could vibe with really well and that I've known. And I was like, I feel like from the moment that we met at San Japan, it was immediate.
A link, and then it like clicked. It was like, yes, this is it. This is everything.
No. So I'm so happy that you're here, and we have an agenda, but it's gonna be very chill. And I'm just so excited to learn more about you and everything you do. So are you ready to get into it?
I'm very ready. Let's get
rolling.
Into
it? Okay, let's do it. So
into it.
You live in the what I think is called, well, I think the locals call it the DMV area.
Yes.
So have you always lived in the wait, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area?
So that's number one, right?
Because
because a lot of people will be very upset that you said Delaware and not DC. But it's
really?
it's DC is the D.
Wait, why does Delaware not get included?
There's no disrespect to Delaware. Shout out to Delaware. I'm sure you're lovely. There's not that much over there going on when we're talking about a metropolitan area.
Oh my god, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. I used to do the same thing when I was really little too, until like a lot of DC people were like, "Don't you ever do that again."
Oh my god, bye Delaware. Bye sis, you're not in this club.
That's good. They got a cute beach.
Wait, I think Steven Universe is based there.
Is it based in
Delmarva? Delmarva is
supposed
the
to be
state.
Delaware.
And like the beach, it's called Beach City, I think is what it's called. And it's like in Delaware, I think.
That's kind of, that's news to me. I believe
I don't know. I could be wrong. Anyway, so you said from when you were little. So does that mean you grew up in the DMV area?
Yeah, so I born and raised in Maryland, north of Baltimore City. So Harford County, and then went to UMBC, which is in Catonsville, so like westish of the city. So I spent a lot of time from like graduating high school up till I moved to Baltimore. Lived in Baltimore for a good chunk, maybe like 5 or 6 years. Now west of the city again, but very local to Maryland all my life. Yeah.
Gotcha. Which airport do you fly out of normally?
Usually BWI. It's very rare that I have to use Dulles duels, depending on how duels is my favorite.
Not Duels Airport. Stop.
I can't remember what I was listening to, but I heard somebody like refer to it as duels, and I was like, "What airport is that? Like, where is that flying out of?" And then they said the location. I was like, "No, it's not Dulles."
That's so evil. Oh my god. That's so funny. I know. I've never flown into Baltimore's airport. I've only ever flown really into Reagan, because for Katsucon, that's the closest one, I think.
Right to the Gaylord, yeah.
So you grew up in the DMV area, moved around the area here and there. So did you when you were growing up, did you make a bunch of friends that were like in different states technically? Like were they
a bit? I think like so. I gravitated a lot to Army kids because I have 2 military parents. While I didn't get the brat lifestyle, my older sister was the one who like kind of bounced around a lot. We would like know people on base or things like that. And so like I had friends like that came out of state. But it wasn't really until I think like college, and then even especially like being a person on the internet, that like that kind of exploded out. And I started meeting people from all over, some in different countries. That I'm closer to now, but in the area of Maryland that I lived in, it's pretty like localized. Like we say often, we call Baltimore Smaltimore, because you will run into the same people quite often without even thinking. Yeah, you end up finding somebody who knows this person who went to school with the other person who's a great grandniece. So like it's a whole weave here that it's like it's almost unavoidable in a way that you'll find somebody that knows you somehow. You're 6 degrees away from something.
That's crazy. It's like they call it the DMV area, which inherently means, oh, it's so close enough together that people would cross and mingle over state lines. Whereas like in Texas, you
Oh,
don't know anyone outside of Texas because it never ends.
I was like, it's like 8 hours from one part to the other.
I know. Well, because it's like we have the DFW area, which is literally just like 2 cities that are connected.
So what is that? Dallas,
Fort
Worth, and
it's just Dallas and Fort Worth, DFW.
oh,
because Fort Worth gets 2, but like technically it's DFW is like Dallas one and Fort Worth on the other end, and it's everything in between, north and south, and then on either side. So it's like everything. So basically, like I think a lot of time when anyone's like, "Oh, this convention's in Dallas," it's actually not. It's actually like an hour north of Dallas in Frisco.
Yeah, but it's like easier for people to make that pinpoint.
Yeah,
I do that a lot too with some places where I'm like, it's easier to say Baltimore than like Cheswold or like things like that. Then it's like to put people on that. Yeah, no, but
oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say the thought of like Texas and how large it is compared to the whole DMV in itself is
literally, and like the drive from Dallas to San Antonio, for example, because that's I think the longest pilgrimage I think I usually have to do. That's like I think it's like 5 hours.
Damn.
I know. At least
where do you stop
4.5.
Where do you take a break?
Oh, so you go through Austin, actually.
On
the way to San Antonio. And there's a lot of like gas stations and stuff. And like there's like a little towns because you go through like a bunch of different cities on the way to San Antonio. But yeah, it's a long drive. It's not pleasant. And there's and there's traffic. Anyway, we're not gonna go into that. But so you lived in the area all your life. So how did you get into like cosplaying and conventions and like nerddom? Like did you grow up with it? Or like how did you
I grew up with nerddom, certainly. So my parents were gamers. I grew up in a gaming household. Like I think my earliest video game memory is literally playing I put in quotations because the controller was not plugged in, but playing Mortal Kombat with my dad at like 4 or 5.
Wait, so was he gaslighting you the whole time?
Yes, absolutely. He's like, yeah, you're getting it, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're killing it here, and nothing
was he
happening.
Playing against an NPC like a computer?
Yeah, it was a CPU like fight. But it was just like I thought that I had it in the bag every fight.
That.
I was like, I'm killing it down, not even realizing who I'm supposed to be watching on the screen. But that is like my intro into gaming. Especially, I am a musician, so like video game music was also like really core in my life. Cosplay came a lot later though, and I think it was 2-part like representation where like I knew of cosplay, I saw cosplayers, but of all the cosplayers I saw, they were typically white, like femme cosplayers. And so it felt like something I wasn't really allowed to do. That was something I would also hear in school from like white nerds that like I would be around.
Gotcha. Because like, whenever you're younger, it's just like, oh well, you're trying to look like a character, but you're not like white as pale as alabaster porcelain, and this girl is. So clearly you can't cosplay her,
right?
Or
look
like her.
You can only do like a Storm. Or Rose from Full Metal Alchemist was one that I was like, somebody was like, you can do that. And I was like, well, like these like, so it, for the longest I had that mentality because you don't know any better until somebody shows you better. And so the first con I went to was a Katsucon. I think it was Katsu 2017.
That was your first one?
That was my very first convention. That's crazy, right?
So at least in 2017 it was still really crowded, but it wasn't like as bad. I feel like the peak of crowd was like 2019 or 2020, right before COVID.
It was that one before COVID, yeah.
Right, but then like 2017 was still crowded. It's still a really big convention. Was that like crazy for you?
It was massive. Let's talk about overwhelmed. Everything under the sun was there, but it was also an undescribable joy that I felt. Like I didn't know how to put words to being in that space and feeling so accepted, but then finally also seeing so many incredible, diverse amount of like cosplayers around from all different walks of life. And I realized it was like, I've always kind of been an artsy kid in like many different ways. I always like painted, drew, and all these kind of things, but I always struggled with like, how do I physically do that to my body? Like in those ways, you know what I mean? Like how do I bring the art and like put it on myself? And so when after that con, I've really like feel like my life changed, and it was like I need to be doing this in whatever facet, in whichever way. And I was like, let me learn how to sew, let me learn how to make this. Oh, I want to make this prop. Oh, I want to make this thing. And it kind of spiraled to now it has become my whole life in a way that I couldn't be happier for. So.
How did you find out about Katsucon? Like obviously it's a big convention, but I think finding out about your first convention is always a little interesting because I mean, I was talking about this on a different episode prior where like when we were trying to find conventions, I mean, this was before. This was like in 2013, but like
Right.
I didn't even know where to begin. I think I was just told by a friend. Is that what happened to you?
Kind of. So I used to work at GameStop for like a good couple of years,
Okay.
and so other GameStop, like some of my coworkers would talk about it, but like I was working at GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
You can imagine how much money I could save aside for a ticket then. But it wasn't until actually an ex of mine who went yearly and had for like the longest time. He was like, "Yeah, I have a suite. We hang out with friends. Like, you should come this year." And so I did go with that group, and I was like, this is like everything. And so that was my gateway to physically being there. But I kind of knew of convention and convention space from GameStop all those years.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had only ever heard of like Comic-Con. That's the only thing I ever
Yeah,
knew.
or like that like big name. Yeah, for sure.
Well, and I always associated it kind of like as an industry thing. Like I never thought that normal people could just go to Comic-Con. I thought it was like, oh, it's like, I don't even know what to equate it to. Like the Oscars, not really, but like it's something that you have to be invited to, and like it's very exclusive, which honestly it kind of is because it's so hard to get tickets.
Yeah, at this point, that's kind of the only way that a lot of people can get in, unless they're like win that lottery or something, right? But I also, yeah, like Comic-Con also felt back then more comic book based, and so as somebody who like is more video game and like anime manga, it felt like, oh, like I don't really know this world enough to like physically be there. But it's changed so much that like, yeah, I feel like it feels like a Katsu, it feels like a Oda, it feels like all these other ones.
Right. No, I agree. So you said that were you were trained in music? What instrument?
Violin is my main instrument.
Do you
20
still
years
play?
strong. I do. I've been lazy though. Listen, I've been lazy. I need to start practicing again, especially because like I have twinges in my shoulder that I've come to find out it's because I'm not playing as much as I used to, and I'm like, oh no,
Oh,
we
not the
gotta.
twinges.
30's coming. It's coming strong. It's on its way.
So you have you ever thought about like incorporating that into anything? Like, have you ever done like a stream where you played violin, or like a cosplay that has like an instrument element or anything?
I would love to do a costume that incorporates an instrument. I would love to do that at some point. I'm a composer by trade, so like performing is not super my jam. I get really like stage fright shy, so I prefer writing. So like in my streams, I'll sometimes have music that I've written in the background. I have written for games before, but like smaller indie games, and things like that. So like I try to weave in, but yeah, you saying with a costume, now I'm like, oh, that would be dope. Like,
can you imagine? That would be
that
so
fun.
sickening. That'd
That
be
would
so
be fun.
cool.
Who though?
I don't
like,
know.
That's the
question. I feel like there must be someone from Genshin, from like that new like
Oh
expansion with the
my
French
God.
people that
Has
play.
to.
There has to be someone that plays violin from like the French people. That's my first thought. Or like maybe Legend of Zelda. I think of like Cass with like the
with the accordion.
but that's like a little different. I don't know if anyone. Oh wait. No, I don't know. There's like the really crusty group of people in Hyrule.
Oh my
play,
God,
like,
that you have to save, yeah, all the fairies. It's like, I'm not doing it.
Terrible.
It's like, y'all really need to get this together. You don't have a bus. You don't have a way to go troop by troop. Like, all of y'all are separate. How are we supposed to?
That was a hot mess.
Yeah, where's your manager?
There has to be something. There has to be something that has instruments. Anyway, so I'm assuming then, because of your background with music and your interest in that, and also with video games, MAGFest is obviously one. Like, tell us about MAGFest, because I feel like MAGFest is still one that, well, okay, I say a lot of people sleep on it. It's really, the hotel room books out like immediately, and like
that.
People go. I'm just saying that like I feel like people sleep on it compared to Katsucon, in that it's not always in the collective consciousness as something that everyone goes to.
Yeah.
But like, tell us about it. I want to hear about it.
So MAGFest is probably my favorite convention of all of them. It is 4 days long. It's a 24-hour con, meaning that there's something going on at like nearly all facets of the time, be it a concert, be it a panel, be it like a meetup of some sorts. Like, there's always something happening, and somebody is always awake at some point. They have performances happening in the hallways, in the like actual like convention spaces, like all throughout. But then like people do cosplay, and I think cosplay is growing more at MAGFest, which is why I think a lot of people sleep on it in a little bit because it's so like music concert based, and people thinking like, oh, like nobody's really dressing up, or you're like sitting at concerts all day long. But like they have a robust like amount of cosplay meetups and different like opportunities there. A lot of people shoot there and pretend that they are at Katsu.
I would.
It's an easier way to get in the gazebo, let me tell you. I don't want to give too many MAGFest secrets though, because it's still so accessible and it's not crowded at all. Like you're not shoulder to shoulder with some people. And like I don't know, the heart that is there of like all of these gaming nerds who just want to like jam and vibe out. Like people will set up their instruments and just like make music together. And so they've expanded now, so I think that there is a West Coast version, northwest version,
really?
and then like a oh my gosh, what is the one in California that everybody does and they wear all the like fringe? Coachella. There's like a Coachella version. There's a Coachella like esque version that I think happens in the summer, in like June.
What are you, MAGWest? Wait a minute, hold up now. MAGWest. It says you've heard of MAGFest. Now introducing our sister MAGWest in San Jose, California, September 27th to 29th at the Doubletree Hilton. What on earth?
Yes. So
my god.
MAGFest is, I always, usually when I explain it to people, you have to really emphasize MAG, not MAGFest. That gets confused sometimes.
Stop it right now.
I'm
not
the
MAGA.
M-A-G.
Not the MAGAfest.
M-A-G. It's MAGFest. But it really is such a delightful time. Every time I go, it's just perfect vibes.
This is 8 years. 8 years it's been going.
I've gone to my first MAGFest that must have been 2018. So I went to like 2018 up to the pandemic. And then the past one was my first time back.
Oh, hold up, sis. We're gonna get into it right now. MAGFest Inc. And then it has in parentheses a tax-exempt Maryland corporation, which is kind of hilarious. That's like in the title. So we have Super MAGFest, which is the one that we're talking about. Technically, it's called Super MAGFest. Did you know that?
I think that they started doing the Super when they started building out the other ones.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's January 23rd to 26th. And it's in National Harbor, Maryland. And then we have the legend. Oh, wait, no. Okay, sorry. This is called Magstock.
Magstock is yes, that's a Coachella one.
It's in Darlington, MD. What's MD?
Maryland?
Is that Maryland? Okay, I'm bad.
No, you're good.
Geography. It's in Darlington. I was
like, medical is what that means.
Darlington, Maryland, June 6th through 9th, which it says the legend of Magstock. Nerds of the campground nerd camping. Yeah. But like June 6th or 9th for camping sounds kind of hot.
It's hot. So I've not done the Coachella MAGFest. I don't know why that's the only way I can refer to it and not its actual given name. But Coachella MAGFest I have not done because the heat element is usually like we're already hitting 80s here in mid to late May. And so it can only get stickier from there, which is not.
I know. I don't think I'd be into that. I'm into. Here's my thing. I will go outside, and I love a good nature moment.
Yeah.
But I need a bed and a shower and an air conditioner at the end of the day, and a glass of wine at least, and then I'm good.
If it's not a glamp setting, I'm not gonna be there.
I know.
I'm sorry about it. I'm not sleeping on like the dirt road and then getting in costume the next day. Like that's just not.
Oh no, honey, cosplay's out of the question. You want me in a wig? You want me in a wig and corset in the heat of the sun? No, absolutely not. In the swamp? No. And then there's BitGen Gamer Fest, which is August 17th, 2024 in Autobar. What is Autobar? One day music festival. It says.
But Autobar, if I'm thinking correctly, is like a club. Like it's a bar space.
It says Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah. So it's like a bar space. I haven't been to that one either.
So they're all in Maryland except for MAGWest, and then there's also MAGFest Laboratories. It says coming soon.
Yeah, that I have no. I don't got the inside scoop for y'all. I really don't.
It says MAGFest Makerspace Mag Labs. It says we don't have any information, but it'll come soon, and it says like play, learn, and then create. It says you can create with
so it
cosplay
might be like
armor.
a maker space kind of
Mm-hmm.
setup, but also probably musically as well. So that people
Look
can
at
like
them.
create anything that is MAGFest related. I am again only assuming. I don't know the people that set that up.
They're taking over the world. They're like their world domination is at hand with MAGFest.
They should really come up with a different acronym then, because I really think the MAG and MAGA is going to confuse some people.
I think it's so unfortunate that MAGA came around so long after MAGFest started, but like that is what's anyway. We're not talking about that, Cheeto.
No.
So okay, MAGFest. Oh yeah. So actually, that led in really easily to your home conventions. What other conventions are in the DMV area outside of Katsucon and MAGFest? Because those are the only two I've actually think I know about.
Yeah, the other large one is Otakon. So that is in DC. That's also summer heat con. So it's a time. That's usually the last week of July. It used to be in the Baltimore Convention Center, moved to the DC Convention Center. I like Otakon a lot. I will say the location is inconvenient as hell if you're coming out of town and you don't have the hotel that is directly connected to the convention center.
Are you walking and Ubering otherwise?
Exactly. It's a lot of walking, a lot of Ubering, a lack of parking. There's not a lot of places to park around it because you're right on like a main strip of DC. And so I enjoy Oda, but it's quite inconvenient if you're not like right there, or at least at like the hotel that is across the street, because you're going to be walking a lot. Then there is BlurredCon, which is it's right on that border of DC and Virginia.
Why did I think that was not there? I thought it was somewhere. Are there more than one?
There's like DreamCon, BlurredCon. I don't think there's more than one BlurredCon though. I think that's their only convention. Is
why did I think there was one like closer to like Louisiana or something?
Oh, I don't know. All the way to NOLA.
Continue. I'm going to research.
Yeah. Google.
So there's
fast.
I know. So you said BlurredCon, and then there's what else?
Otacon. Anime USA, I feel like is smaller. Same with AwesomeCon, which is another one that people go to here.
AwesomeCon? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I haven't actually been to AwesomeCon. I've been to Anime USA a few times. Super small convention, but the hotel that they have it in, or have had it in usually, has like really cute locations to shoot in. They have like a tea room area that's really beautiful with like all of these like very lavish furniture pieces that you can like pose and things on. The space itself in some of the transitions from like the pool area to like the main hotel are really beautiful. But those are the ones that I know the most. There are like even smaller ones that I've not yet explored or gone to. But really the big ones, MAGFest, Katsucon, Otakon, and then BlurredCon is pretty large, or it's getting larger now too.
And your fave is MAGFest out of all those because of the type of content they cater and the overall atmosphere and the ease of access. It says BlurredCon is at the airport.
I think.
Honey.
At the airport?
Honey.
That's news to me.
It says here, hold up. Let me make sure I'm not informing the good people.
BlurredCon 2024?
Yeah, it said the Reagan, at least Google said the Reagan Hyatt.
Hold on. I'm on their website, but it's loading.
It says hotel accommodations, Hyatt Courtyard Holiday Inn. Where is this place?
I think it's in that court. Is it a Marriott Courtyard? I think that's the hotel it's in. Usually, here's the thing with BlurredCon, because as much as
Hyatt Regency Crystal City at Reagan National Airport.
Okay, that's weird.
It says, wait, is this actually at the airport? No way, it's at the airport.
It's in a hotel that's, I think, close to that airport.
It's across the street from the airport. Okay.
Yeah, so that's cool. I was like, did they move? It used to be, so BlurredCon, the vibes are immaculate. That hotel is a little crazy because the lobby level, the ceiling is glass. And so it's just a greenhouse in that upper floor.
No,
and again, this is a July convention. And so it's such a greenhouse that everyone is forced to go down to the bottom. But the only thing that's down there are like some air conditioning and like box fans that are like spread throughout. And so it's like you gotta pick and choose your discomfort. You want to be upstairs sweltering in the heat, or you want to be downstairs scrunched up with a bunch of people watching the Smash Bros tournament? You tell me.
I'd rather be outside in my car airing out my Gucci with the vents on the car.
It's
air
like,
conditioning.
I love BlurredCon, but I've taken a break just because it's so uncomfy. It's so uncomfy.
Yeah.
Unless you go to like somebody's hotel room for like that party, and then it's like, all right, it's lit again. There's like AC being pumped in here.
Have one window unit that has air conditioning coming through. So I looked it up. It's BlurredFest is the one that's in New Orleans.
So that's newer then.
It must be newer.
Yeah.
It must be newer. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have all those conventions. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just interesting because I think every major area in the US probably has like the smaller cons that people will go to their locals but don't necessarily travel in from out of town for. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just because, like, you know, they're smaller and they're cute and it can be fun, but like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna book a flight, hotel, this, that, and the other for all of it. So no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is your what if you want to talk about it, I want you to. Yeah. What has been your least favorite convention that you've gone to?
Ever?
It doesn't have to be in DMV, but like just in general.
Ever. Oh, ever. That's kind of like, hard.
Or I would say like maybe not your least favorite convention because it was a bad experience by happenstance. Like, oh, like my ex like threw shit in my face, or like my cosplay like fell over my head and I fell off the balcony. Not like that, but like what like convention in itself, like your least favorite convention in like a vacuum.
You know, I'm gonna say something controversial yet brave. I'm gonna say something controversial but quite brave.
Say it.
I think it's Katsucon now. I really do.
Oh
but let me get into it. Like, the Katsu that I was like introduced to this world with, didn't feel like the same Katsu that like I left right before the quarantine and COVID had happened, right? Where like it, first off, it's crowded as hell now, like shoulder to shoulder, and those shoulders are usually like 3 foot like pauldrons, and so like you're shoulder to shoulder. I don't know what it is about the Katsu air. I don't know what's going on in the water, but like people get real nasty real fast when it comes to like attitude at Katsucon.
They do.
In a way that I'm like, like there's no elitism when you're dressed like Princess Peach.
Oh, right? And it's not just the people, but it's also the staff too.
Staff, that's
it's
the
like
worst
everyone.
part.
It's like everyone.
I will never forget. Actually, no, you just reminded me. The last Katsucon I was at, a bunch of us were together on the like atrium level near the gazebo. So everybody usually hangs out. You pick a tree, stay by that tree.
Right.
We're all hanging out. We have like somebody brought a boombox, so we're all like dancing, jamming, having a good time. It's very cordial, normal. Very polite. Yeah. And one of the staff members came up and picked up one of my friends and was like, "You guys can't be here anymore." And then like told us to move. Physically got like telling you. Like she was twerking on people, and he got her and was
like, "Do you watch Drag Race?"
Yes, I do.
Is this like a Mimi I'm First?
Yes,
in the Afera
just
moment
fully,
where she just
like,
picked her up.
Cosplay is not a contact sport.
Oh my god!
and moved her and was like, "Y'all can't stand over here anymore." And I was like, "Well, what rule or sign said that?" And then I'm looking around, I'm like, every other little tree got somebody doing something.
Right.
So it's stuff like that at Katsu that I'm like, I miss seeing all of my out of state cosplay friends because that is the con that they go to, and I'm like, okay, I can see everybody, I can catch up and have a good time, but like it's not conducive to that environment anymore.
I 100% agree. Yeah. Here's my thing. Okay, Mama, you're a staff member. You are not the Queen of Sheba. You are not the it girl here, and like, sure. You are valuable. You make the convention run. You keep it going. Thank you for that. Here are your flowers. However, this does not give you a free golden ticket Willy Wonka chocolate bar pass to come and throw people over your shoulder and remove them.
I don't know what position you could be in that is an acceptable thing to do. Or actually, because now you're bringing up all these things. We were in line for, I think it was like the burlesque show. And this line, like, we got there early. We were waited for like an hour and a half before they actually started letting people in, right? So we're within the first 20 people of this line that is now looped back and forth, because you know how these lines get. And so they open the doors and start walking people into like where they want them to start filling in and put us in the back row and started filling from the back front.
Stop it right now.
And we were like, what the hell is going on? Like, was there a separate line? No, we were in the front. And so it took somebody stopping like one of the people and being like, hey, do you realize like what's happening? And like people have been waiting to get a front seat and like this, that. And then so they're like, oh, we'll fix it. And they took us and just put us in the back of the upper section and then continued to fill in from the back forward. It's stuff like that where I'm like, I've worked in event management. I don't need to be in this space because
okay, this is just filling my rage because here's the thing. You actually had an experience with Katsucon programming. I have never ever on my life been to a programming at Katsucon before. I've never been to a panel.
That is so
I've never been to the contest. I've never been to a dance. Wait, no, that's a lie. I went to a dance one year. I did.
Up on the top floor or in the actual like masquerade area? Or not the masquerade,
I've been to the top floor. It was fine. I went to the actual like formal dance and it was not the vibe. We got all dressed up. We went. We thought we were real cute. We looked stunning. The vibe was not stunning.
Yeah,
and then we left. Yeah. But anyway, so I take it back. I have gone to that. But that being said, my only experience with Katsucon staff, one, why does it matter if you're going in and or out of doors that are actual exits to the hotel?
Oh yeah.
You know, when they block off the doors to the atrium, they're like, oh no, you can't come in, you can only go out. Or you can't go out, you can only come in.
That's kind of like actually a safety hazard.
Oh, it's a fire hazard. Yeah. It's a safety risk. Oh, for sure. That's problematic. And then them yelling at people too. Yeah. Also, when it's literally like 10 degrees outside and they're like, no, bitch, get to step in. Get your steps in today and walk around the entire hotel.
Because you're not getting in this door.
It's so foul. So there's that. There's also the badge pickup.
Yeah. Oh,
honey.
Even worse.
Oh my God. So the fact that there's no organization, there's no lines,
I'm
and like
stressed.
We get there on Thursday, right? I think Thursdays when we pick up our badges sometimes, and they're just masses of people, and there's all the volunteers don't know what's left from right, up or down. No one knows where to go. No. You're like, is this pre-register or on site? They say it's the same line. No one knows what's happening. Oh, it starts over there. Oh, just kidding. It starts over there now instead. And it's just chaos, pandemonium, and conflama, and no one knows what's happening. I swear to God, I find that for Katsucon, so some conventions, it's actually faster if you don't buy your badge ahead of time because they will divide up the groups and they'll be like, oh, if you don't already have a badge, go over here. Yeah. And a lot of times, for some reason, that line is like 10% of the people. So it's so much faster just to buy your badge there. Yeah. Sure, you're paying like $10 more because they're barely discounting that shit.
Right. I was like, when was the last time, what is their early bird? I don't even remember if it's garbage. Even that much. Like, what bird is it?
It's not a bird. It's a goose. It's a penguin. It's fucking off the ground.
It can't even fly.
No, ostrich.
Ostrich.
No, but it's so pathetic. The organization of the badge pickup, it's just a hot mess. And then when you're in that room, it's just like literally hours of standing in a line
on concrete,
back and forth.
On concrete, mind you. So like you feel like ass by the time you actually get your badge. Like the whole rigmarole of it is just like it's become not worth it. The more that I've experienced conventions that like kind of have it together. You know what I mean?
Oh, and then the fact that they literally one year used stock image art. Wait. I have the badge. I'm gonna get it real quick. Hold up 1 second.
Too. Which year was it?
I don't know. I have to get it. Wait, I have it right here.
Yeah. That's so funny.
All my badges in this book. And this Katsucon badge, literally, it looked like they went online to like badgecreator.com and then they made the badges, but they didn't replace any of the graphics, colors, fonts, or anything. And they just made them like that. And we literally could not get over the ridiculousness of it all the entire time. Here it is. I literally have in here, I say the what the fuck badge year.
I'm scared. I'm so scared. Wait, like, okay.
So it says, it's mirrored right now for me, but it says Katsucon 2022, February, and then it says, it has a sperm whale.
Is that what that is?
I think it's a sperm whale. It's like the skeleton of a sperm whale.
I'm not gonna lie, in this camera, I thought it was a kunai blade. And I was like, oh, like, at least it's like kind of,
No.
it's a whale.
It's like a see-through whale skeleton flying through space. And then it says attendee.
The fact that I thought it was going to be so much earlier of a year than 2022 is blowing my mind.
What are these colors? Like, what's happening?
Do you get the like light sparkle effect in the background for that upper bed? What in the PowerPoint presentation is happening right now?
It's so tragic. And here's the thing. So 2022. So I went in 2020, and I will say the vibes were definitely off compared to the past. But I was like, you know what? We're gonna go again. We're gonna go and we're gonna experience this again in 2022 when it came back after COVID.
Yeah.
And we must have still been wearing masks. I think that Katsu.
I think that one was still like a mask mandate. I think 22.
But I did not go. This past year would have been Katsucon 2020. Did I go 2023?
Yeah, this past one would have been 24.
Hold up. Oh my god, the memories. And I'm literally like, did I go in 23? I think I went in 23. Oh my god, I'm literally holding this up because I'm just trying to figure this out. San Japan, Akon, Katsucon.
Okay.
Katsucon 2023. I went 2023. After that, 2023 was the year I was like, this is not the tea.
Yeah.
This is not it. So it had been, I will say that 2020 before COVID, I'd already started to get the vibes. 2022, I was like, oh, well, I really want to go back because like we haven't had conventions in so long and it's been COVID.
Yeah,
and it was like the staff were, it's the same. We were just talking about everything was the same, only exacerbated.
Yeah.
2023 I went back because I was like, all right, we're going to give it another shot. We had like a groups thing planned and everything. It was the same.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, you know, I don't want to go next year.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Honestly, it's no longer, in my opinion, it is no longer worth the cost. Like they have price gouged that to high hell because it's not worth getting that hotel. It's not worth getting the badge just to be like kind of uncomfortable for the whole weekend. And then maybe you get some stuff shot. Maybe you do hang out and meet up with people or meet new people and things like that. But like, I feel like there's so many better spaces to do that at. And like, I know Katsu, like as cosplayers, right? And as cosplayers who like pride themselves in making and building, it was like kind of seen as the cosplay Met Gala in a way.
Yeah, it's like the event, right?
But
like,
even now, it's like I could have a better time making something and shooting it here and then everybody sharing it out that way than being in that space. And like, I don't know, it's not the vibe anymore.
They haven't done anything to cater to their audience that makes the convention what it is, and that being cosplayers. Like, they actively have not promoted cosplay programming or fostered spaces to make it easier for cosplayers.
Yeah.
They've just profited off of the fact that its reputation has grown because of cosplay.
Right. And
like, for example, just real quick. For example, so Cowboy Crunchies and Jedi Amanda started the Cosplay Met Gala event. And the whole intention after, I think it was after maybe it was during the first year or after the first year, they wanted to actually have a proper room, like a stage and like a room to conduct this fashion show, cosplay presentation show in. And they said, hey, we had this turnout. We had this many people signed up. We had this turnout. This is how we organized it. Can we get space? And they just flat out were like, no. And we couldn't get anyone to take it seriously.
Yeah.
No one from the convention would give it a room. And so the first year it happened, we were literally in front of the water fountain as like a meetup event.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it was just not it. And that kind of really rubbed me the wrong way because I was like, okay, you literally aren't trying to promote cosplay programming in a way, in an event that we already know is successful and run well.
Right.
You just don't want to do it.
That's why. It's like if they are operating, and again, like I'm speaking outside of my neck, I don't know how these meetings go or anything, but like it seems as though they're operating off to the assumption that like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Meaning that enough cosplayers and enough large cosplayers are still attending this event and bringing their following and bringing other cosplayers who kind of want to aspire to that in a way in without them doing any of the hard work. And so it's like, why offer these spaces to the core audience that is a part of that really holds the foundation of this convention if they're already going to be there? If they're already going to be there, why even put in the extra effort? And that's, I think, is going to be its downfall, because I think people are going to see through that very, very soon. Maybe from this, maybe from something else, but like, I don't know. Katsu's going through it.
I would like to try MAGFest if I can make it work in my schedule. Although I will say, when you compare Katsucon to some of the villainous enemies in Texas, it looks like a beautiful time, girl.
I can only imagine.
Oh my god. When you compare it to like it's like the Bad Girls Club in Texas with some of these conventions.
Who's on the list? Who's on season 1? Who's on the roster?
Oh my god. We've already talked about the WeebCon. We talked about, which you could bankrupt probably. We talked about the Disability Comic Con. Probably not going to happen again.
Wait,
girl. Go get the tea on that episode. That was episode. What episode was that? I don't remember. I think it was like a few episodes back. Yeah. It's on one of the episodes. We go all into it. Mess. We have the the trading card convention that like went bankrupt. People's money.
Oh no, they went bankrupt,
and they didn't pay their guests.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, that was a whole thing. The list goes on.
Yeah.
The list of clowns and characters,
which is a shame. That should be a small list. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
It grows every year. Okay, I want to harken it back to our time judging together at San Japan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have effectively prostituted out. I don't know if that's the right word, but
we'll go with it. We'll go with it.
I have literally advertised for San Japan as a convention so much I should be getting like an affiliate link at this
a
point.
Code for that,
and it literally comes from a genuine point of like, I love that con, it's so fun. But when we judged together, that was and guested there as cosplayers in 2022. That was the first time I had been to San Japan in that way before. And it was so fun.
Yes,
I had a great time. So was that your first Texas convention before?
That was my first Texas convention. That was my first like out of DMV convention. Like, yes, first time guesting. It was like a lot of first all wrapped into one. And so like that con holds such a special place in my heart, because not only was it like it's an honor to be anywhere, right? Like if you want me to show up, I'll come.
Yeah.
So like
exactly.
To be invited, but then also like being able to hang out with you, with Taco Cat, like
yes,
it was so much like love and joy and just like let's do the damn thing in like such a beautiful way. Judging the pats on the back for us.
Oh,
because
honey,
we were locked.
Right,
we were locked in that judging room.
Okay, so here's the thing. The cosplay department and staff at San Japan, lovely people.
Oh,
great
so
team,
wonderful.
Great show.
Yep.
Took care of us. San Japan treats their cosplay guests like real guests. Not like all cons do that. They do.
Warm welcome.
That being said, there was an unprecedented number of attendees and registrants for the costume contest. Girl,
I think it was like
in that
130 people that we saw.
There were 130 people that registered for this costume contest. 130 people for the audience. Normal costume contests have like 50 to 60 people if it's a full show.
Yeah.
130 people-ish signed up for this contest. I think by the time that they had people drop out and this and that, like 100 people showed up.
I think even that's kind of low still, though. I remember hearing a number out loud, and I was like, "How did we survive?"
It was like the first day we were there. I think it was so funny because we had our panel on Friday together, right? And we were in cosplay because we're in cosplay, we're cosplay guests.
Yeah.
But we also had to prejudge that day, and so we weren't gonna like go and like change out of our costumes that we already had on to judge because we're already in these costumes. We're just gonna go do the prejudging. we did the prejudging in our costumes, and we still did like I think maybe like 4 or 5 hours of prejudging.
I think it was
Friday.
about 5 hours, and you toughed it out because I did like a quick drag and I switched into a like a comfier.
You did?
Yeah, I was like behind a table, like quickly undressing and redressing and threw a wig on. And I was like, we're gonna make it work. But you were in Samurai.
Yeah, and I was in Samurai
for that entire session. And like one point you were like, I'm just sitting down. You can walk up to me.
It was so bad. So like, here's the thing. I am very much the judge that wants to be up in the seams and on the floor rolling around, like getting up underneath without sexual harassment involved.
Very consensually, respectfully
looking
at the details.
The dress.
The details. It's in the details.
But I was breaking because I was like, I'm in this. I can't. No. Like, that's the thing. If you are at a costume contest and you are a judge, communicate with the coordinators to not be in cosplay while you are physically judging, because you were just locked into a room for hours and hours with little to no breaks, and you are trying to look at these costumes. There is no reason for you to be in corset, petticoat, armor. Like, no, there's no reason for it. And so Friday was terrible. We were all broken.
Yeah.
And it was only like 4 to 5 hours. Then Saturday.
Oh my God.
We started at like 10, I want to say.
I think it was earlier in the morning. So like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Maybe.
I think maybe we were down there by 9:30 and we started at like 9:45 or 10. And we went straight. Wait, I don't even remember. We went straight to like 5 p.m. I think. Because we were also in that room for like 30 minutes to an hour afterwards, just deliberating with the pile of books that we had.
Oh my God, the mountain of books. And then had to immediately after. And like, listen, y'all, it was no sunlight. People had to bring us food. Like I sent my boyfriend to go. I was like, yo, just get us something to eat. We're dying in here.
We went to the bathroom once.
We only went to the bathroom once. I was like, what in the Amazon is happening right now? And then after we had continued our deliberation, an extra person walked in, so we had to judge somebody after we judged like all of these people for hours, and moved to my hotel room to finish while getting into cosplay. Like, I was fully braiding my hair while we were talking about.
No, we were on your bed with like we weren't in cosplay at that point yet, but we were like, we had to hurry because we had to go get in cosplay. And we're like, can we bring the bill books with us because we need to finish talking about this? And so we went into your room, sat on the beds, spread out the build books, and then we were like trying to figure out what we wanted to do. Because like, here's the thing. I feel like with most judging, you want to figure out roughly your idea for who's going to get what, or roughly how they're going to place before you even see the show, because you don't have enough time to deliberate fully to the level of detail that you need to between the intermission. There just isn't enough time. Yeah,
we crunched that too, I feel like, and like really
oh my God. So we had our preliminary picks. We ran and got like quick dragged into our costumes and then ran down to
I will say, all three of us looked immaculate for how much time we had to actually get ready. We ate.
I'm just happy the lights were low. Yes.
I was like, nobody look directly at my face, please. Don't look at my makeup right now.
So and then deliberations. Here's the thing that gets me too. So we went. All right, can we deliberate? Let's leave. We want to be like, backstage to talk about this. And we were so panicked, we didn't even remember what all the awards were. We're like, we need to know the list of awards because we didn't even have the list in front of us. We were like, we had deliberated obviously before, but like we were like, what are we gonna do? And then also, obviously, the reason why obviously the performance matters is because we actually made changes based on the performances we saw, even just for the walk-ons.
That's how tight it can be, honestly. Like, that's how close people can be. And when that stage performance comes into play, it was make or break for some people.
It was. And we literally were like frantic trying to place people, reorganize people, and change things. And then I remember also, so here's what I was told. I don't know if you knew this or if we told you this. The person that was doing the halftime, he was like a comedian / rapper, I think. I don't remember because I didn't see him, obviously.
I remember this being a thing because somebody knew of him, and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this.
Yeah, but like basically they told him, he said into the microphone that they, as in like the convention, is telling me to shorten my set to go off
I don't
the
remember
stage
that.
faster. No, we didn't see it because we weren't there. But like I was told that by my friends who were in the audience, that he said, "Oh, I am being told I have to hurry up and get off the stage." And then we were being told, "Oh, he's almost done with his show. You'll have to hurry." And we were like frantic and panicking.
Well, you saw I was writing fast because we also didn't have like a form to fill out, so we had to write down the award name and each person for each one, and then write down who was gonna announce each.
That was insanity. That was so stressful. I was literally...
I've never taken notes that fast in my life. My AP class could never. Oh my god.
No, but it was so much fun.
So fun.
It was such a good convention. It was such a good time. I love that venue. Like I've said a million times before.
Mm-hmm.
It was really fun to judge with people that also were just really easy to talk to and to work with.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes you can be positions where you just like butt heads or you just don't agree, and I feel like we never had that moment happen like on any of them.
Yeah, but I also think that like the slate was so good that it was easy to make those decisions where it's like, okay, like this person fits here, this person, like, our synergy, like as that judging panel, was pretty strong. I mean, obviously we're sitting here right now.
Yeah, I know, it was good. Yeah, and then oh my god, and then the year after I competed and got the other side of
congratulations.
Yeah, oh thanks. Yeah. But no, it was that was chaotic too, because our group, there were 3 judges, like we had 3 judges, but our group was 4 people.
Yeah.
And so we literally outnumbered the judges by 1 person, and we had 3 minutes
to squeeze all of that in. Is crazy.
Chaos. Yeah. If you can imagine a person's head spinning around in a circle, that's how the judges were when they were sitting there, like their head spin.
Yeah.
That's what was happening. And I don't blame them because it was overwhelming. Yeah. It was a lot.
But you still snagged that win. That good dub.
It's wild. Who could have thought? All right, so I want to talk about your streaming. So how long have you been streaming on Twitch, and how did you start? Like, what made you want to start?
I guess now it's coming on 4 years. August would be my 4-year, I think. I started it was a pandemic stream thing. So like everybody's getting their like stimulus, she got a PC. But the real like trigger for starting streaming was because I was actually reached out to by a virtual convention that like they're like, we're in quarantine, we're in lockdown, we can't have a physical space, so we're doing like a virtual con. So they asked a bunch of like cosplayers and creators to essentially make a panel that they would then stream on their website, but you could stream on your own platforms too. And I've had friends and like other cosplayers tell me, oh, like you should be in the streaming space. You should be in the streaming space. So I was like, I don't know. Got about a damn. Can we cuss on this one?
Yo, girl, okay. I don't know if I can think about this. No, oh my god, that's actually the one thing I did not tell you before we started. I was like, you can say whatever the fuck you want. Okay, beautiful. It is explicit. Beautiful.
I've been very good this whole time.
I'm so sorry. I have not been.
You're good. No, I was like, I don't know what any of this is. I don't know what any shit is. Like, I'm not. Despite what people will tell you, I don't consider myself a very tech savvy person. I'm like auntie mode. Like I still use one finger on my phone, and so I was like, oh, maybe sure if I have the setup, and then COVID happened, quarantine, stimulus. So I was like, okay, well, let me get a setup for this virtual convention. And I was like, well, I might as well play around and see like if this is a thing. And prior to this, I used to do streams on Instagram Live. And that was like, you just pop your phone up and then like I would get ready in cosplay or do like sometimes like a crafting thing, and it would be like very low key, very chill. And that's where like most of my like memes and references from streams now come from. Like the Nugget Kingdom was like an original Instagram Live thing, and like so when I started, a lot of that audience came over and watched, and then I just kind of fell in love with it. It's a weird thing to describe when you're in a room talking to a camera for hours on end and like reading a chat, but like there's something about it that is just like very fun, engaging. I play way more games now because I'm using that time to go through like my video game list. So yeah, we're approaching 4 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about that
is crazy.
It lasted this long based off of one convention being like, hey, you want to do this thing? So
No, it's wild. I can only imagine if this podcast will be going 4 years from now.
Yeah, right? And
Maybe.
it will. And
Maybe,
will.
maybe.
Speak it into
No,
existence.
it's crazy because like I don't know, like 4 years, and also streaming is its own, like you have to have your own set of skills for streaming, because you have to not only be personable and entertaining enough to carry a conversation with a chat, but you also have to have enough, I guess, discipline to be focused on what you're doing, but also focused on the people who are interacting with you.
It's hard.
Was that hard to learn?
In a way, I think, so I used to get in trouble a lot as a kid for just rambling on, like, she doesn't stop. So that aspect of it felt more natural. And I think there was like a starting anxiety of like, you know, I am a perfectionist to my core. And so it's like, okay, well, if I'm doing this, it's got to be like a broadcast ready. So I got to know where my buttons are. I got to know where this and third, how to nobody can see the messy, like behind the screen, like don't look behind it. To now I'm like, y'all want to see me set this up real quick? Let's camera or whatever. It's like, oh, sorry, this thing's broken. Let me just. So I think that was the learning curve. Also, is just kind of like allowing myself to be myself in an authentic way, and not this kind of like
overly produced.
Yeah, right. Because it felt stiff at first. Of like, we have to have an itinerary and everything has to go perfectly, and then especially when it doesn't, then you're like, oh, that was a disaster. To now, it's a journey with chat and streamer, and like, yeah, I kind of like cool ecosystem in a way, like a community that you're really building. I feel like it comes more naturally the more you let yourself be natural. If you overthink it, then nothing will feel right. But if you kind of,
I think that, I think that like actually really makes sense, because when I first started this, I was like, well, okay, one thing I wanted to make sure I had was I want to make sure at least the audio was good, because it's the whole point, right? But beyond that, it was very much, I was like, oh my God, like we have to keep it to like this, and this, and like it has to be the structure, and like, oh my God, all this. And I was like, I feel like as I've gone through each episode, it's just gotten more fluid and more lax. And I feel like it's been a lot easier. And I also think it makes it a lot more likely to have longevity when it's something that's easier and not as stressful for you to do.
Like if you had asked me 4 years ago if I thought I would still be doing it 4 years later, I'd be like, no, there's no way. It's just too stressful, this, that, and the third. But when you do make things easy for yourself, of course, like it's easy to love it. If it's easy for you to do, then it's easy for you to fall in love with it and continue to do so.
Yeah. What are your favorite things to stream? Like what just in general, like what types of either games or sewing, or like what types of games, like all that?
Yeah, I call myself very much a variety streamer because it's whatever is going on. Sometimes it is games I'm super into. Sometimes we do like retro replays and bring some stuff back that I really enjoy. Crafting on stream is my like newest venture to like dip my toes into more, because I don't know if you get like this, but I hate having people watch me work sometimes, because I'm like, I don't want you to see me fuck something up. You know what I mean? And so like,
here's the thing for me. So I focus hardcore when I am crafting, to the point where even if I'm in Discord with people, I will be much less talkative and I will be focused on what I'm doing, because like I'm thinking, like a lot of times, sometimes it's different. Like, okay, patterning is like a very, like I have to focus.
That's math. Maybe that's math.
I would say that like sewing like with a machine is a little more focus heavy as well. I would say that like hand sewing is less so. I can talk more when I'm hand sewing. Painting also same. Like I can be much more like conversational, but it's a struggle, like trying to even talk to people in my ears, let alone reading a chat, which is actually really funny, because that's why I mentioned the VOD I watched of you working on. Wait, so what's the character behind you?
So,
like, what's the character?
In Pokemon Unite, they have different trainer outfits that match certain Pokemon. And so my favorite Pokemon to main in Unite is Buzzwole, which is like a giant, like 8-foot buff mosquito. And so like the trainer outfit that's paired with it is this like puffer jacket that looks like his like skin.
Scales armor.
Yeah. And so I've just been we play Pokemon Unite, the stream team that I'm a part of. It's like Unite weekend, you get all the characters free for that weekend to try them out. So we stream that as a team every month. And I was like, I need something to rep the Buzzwole community. I need something to let y'all know that you can eat it. And so I made this jacket. And it was quite a labor of love, because this might be the most technically challenging thing, with all the elements trying to get it as close to character as possible. And so, a labor of love.
Yeah, no, because like you were working on that. Well, okay, I say you were working on that. Most of the time, I feel like, well, not most of the time. I'll give you some grace. There was a whole Fortnite conversation that happened.
There was.
Okay, no, we're not going into that rabbit hole, but I will also side with you that I don't know what Fortnite is. All I know is that people are shooting each other, and that now Gaga is in Fortnite.
She's also John Wick, and that's what it was, because everybody was like, "Oh, you've never played, like, but you can be XYZ character." And the thing about crafting on stream is that once you get distracted, then you forget that you have a whole ass project you're working on. And so I'm like, wait, you said that Billie Eilish is in it? Like, wait, the Blue Man? Like, and then so I'm like, okay, I have to figure out what's happening. And chat will
derail you
easily, and they love to do so. they make it a mission.
No, because you were like, at one point you were like, okay, Al, I had to stop, I need to focus, and you were like talking to yourself, trying to turn the fabric the right way. And you were like in front of your sewing machine, like, all right, I gotta focus spiritually and physically on what I'm doing.
Recenter, realign.
It's just so fun, because I feel like that would be the same with me. I don't think I could actually muster the attention span to engage while crafting. People do it. Props to ya, mama. Like,
it's a tie.
Like, it'll be a miracle if I have the Cosplay Crunch. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to do the Cosplay Crunch live at a con. That would be so fun. Technically, it's a little bit of work to set that up, because, you know, at a convention panel room, you've done it before. You know the situation that is. So you'd have to, like, bring your own, like, equipment and, like, be able to record your own stuff and all that. So I want to do it. It'd be fun. But what I am more interested in short term is doing, like, a live stream.
Oh, yes.
Because I could have people that have been on the show, and we could literally just do, so I'd want it to be not super structured, because I want it to kind of just be like a shoot the shit kind of thing, but I do want to have questions for everyone. I do want to maybe do a game or something. Yes. I think that could be so fun. And then it'd be live, and then we could have, like, people in chat, like, doing whatever. But that would require me first making a Twitch for the Cosplay Crunch. So
if you need help, if you need overlays, if you need the things, I got you.
I need the wealth of help for this, because I am also technically challenged. Like, getting this podcast going was already an endeavor in itself. I can barely use, like, Instagram stories, so
I got you. I'll handwrite it in a note and send it your way in the way that we know how to speak. As all
carrier pigeon.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yes.
Yeah. No, so also, what would you say, like, has been your favorite part about the streaming experience that you have had throughout the 4-year journey?
Honestly, I think it's the community building. I really think I love my chat down. They ride for me. It's like any kind of friendship, but it's like a mini group of people that, you know, have the same goals or ideas or want the same out of the gaming, anime, nerd space, in a space that isn't always welcoming to a lot of different types of people, you know, in a space that can be very cold for Black people, for brown people, for people of color, for queer people, in a way that, like, we've had to find solace in these spaces because the outside world has already ostracized us so much. And then to be ostracized by the world that you love, making comfort in these communities, because it's hard to make a safe space starting with us, right? The work needs to be done with the people who have the most privilege, right? So we can only make ourselves comfortable in these spaces. And I think streaming allowed me to find people who really support and love the art form that is nerddom in all facets, and connect me to so many different people too, other artists, other streamers, other people who do something completely different, that I get to watch them be a part of their process. I think the connection, especially after being forced to not connect with COVID and with quarantine and being locked in, streaming allowed a way to kind of get out and still see the world and still connect with people in a new fresh way. So I think it's the people of it all that makes me do what I do.
That's so inspiring. Oh my
I don't know. Sometimes I
God.
feel like a country monkey
No,
out here.
no, like honestly, like no, everything you said is so true and does really resonate. And I feel like what better of a motivation to keep doing something you love, because it's like not the superficialness of it all, right? And whole tangent, but I think you'll agree that's something that I think that people who don't have the right motivations in anything they do, I would say, especially with hobbies and with personal projects that you can kind of just drop because there's no repercussion for you dropping it. It's not like a job or you're relying on it for income or something. I think that if you don't have the right motivations going into something, you are not going to keep sticking to it, and you're so much more likely to burn out. And that applies to so many things. So like if, I feel like a lot of people with cosplay, quickly after getting into cosplay, they tie their overall worth to follower counts and likes. And then they are so quick to abandon the hobby after a while because they feel like they're not being validated externally by that metric. When in reality, if you're not doing it because it's something that you feel passionate about yourself and you're not fulfilling yourself intrinsically from doing it, you're not going to keep doing it.
You're gonna get older. Yeah, it's gonna get old real fast. Like I feel like, and I'm about to sound like such an auntie right now. I'm about to sound so old, but there's something about TikTok that changed a lot of the cosplay culture in that there are cosplayers who grew quickly and received that validation, and so it tricked a lot of baby cosplayers into thinking that they would receive that same validation in that same way. But when those algorithms start algorithming, it's a lawless land out there. And I think a lot of people threw themselves into this under the guise of wanting that validation, but cosplay being a vehicle in a way of like, okay, I can buy a costume, I can put that on, I can be cute, fun, sexy, cool, all the things. But then when you end up and your video only has 100 views, then you're like, whoa, I'm not all of these like things. And then we lose people. And so, yeah, I really feel like a desire to dress up as a fictional character has to come from a core, because when you say it out loud, it sounds crazy, right?
The desire, wait. The desire to dress up as a fictional character has to come from the core. That's a t-shirt quote.
That's a long ass t-shirt. It's a big t-shirt. But I mean, you see what I mean? That like, it's, if you're not feeling it, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're looking for validation, cosplay is not the way to do it. Let me tell you. There are different ways that you can be validated, and you don't even have to wear a wig. You don't have to get up in a corset, tights, different like hair tapes, boob tapes, all the tapes. You could do that and be comfortable. Find your validation elsewhere.
Tucking panties.
Yeah, tucking. Oh my gosh, from the Ruta to the Tuta. But you don't have to do that if you're looking for validation. But if you're looking to like meet people, make friends in a community, nerd out with other people, you want to get dressed up, you want to explore fashion, costume design, all these things, yes, this is a place for you, this is a warm place for you. Don't let social media get up in your judge, because you're sacrificing the joy of a craft for the validation of other people. Does that not sound corny when you say it out loud?
No, literally, it's so crazy. And I mean, look, I don't even have a TikTok, so I can't even speak to the whole, like, I guess, paradigm shift of the people. But like, I mean, I don't know, I feel like, take it from people that have been doing this for a long ass time. And I've been doing it as long as social media has existed, obviously. Like, there was always, I mean, at the beginning, it was like in the beginning there was times. Wait, what's the quote? It's like, in the beginning there was man, there was Adam.
Yeah, I think what did the Christians say? I don't know, child.
In the beginning there was Facebook pages, and and DeviantArt.
Yes.
And
oh my god.
Yeah, literally.
What a time.
But no, it's like also what was wild with Facebook pages is that you could literally, like, it was weird. Like, I think Facebook was like really pushing them, and like you would get like a lot of people finding your page and like liking it. And then they just like shut all that shit down. And now Facebook pages are dead. Like, you can't even like there's nothing happening there.
I've set it to like Instagram automatically also post on Facebook. I open that like once every 4 months, and I'm like,
should I do that?
It's
well,
easier.
so what I did was I was like, oh, I made a post in 2018 and I was like, I'm not using this anymore. Peace. I left it. Oh, and the only thing I do now is I have the page that way I can be tagged in things if people ever post on Facebook. Yeah. And the only thing I'll do is if I'm a guest, I'll put the guest announcement on Facebook. If it's shared on Facebook already, then I'll
add it here. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I know, it's so funny. Also, something else I want to talk about as like a relic from the past, maybe the past, I don't know. Cosplay magazines.
Oh my god, I have not even. Whoa, that is a relic.
Do those exist?
I don't think so. I think that got wiped out with the pandemic. Because I guess Cosplay magazine itself, like self-titled, or no, it was Cosplay Realm. Was that one of the ones?
You were in one.
I was, and I don't even remember. Child, that's terrible. I think it was Cosplay Realm magazine. And
was that? Let's look it up.
That yeah, I have to go onto Instagram because this was
Cosplay Realm magazine. Yeah, Cosplay Realm is a female-run cosplay and pop culture publication. It comes out the first of every month. Is it still coming out?
Is it? I have
no, girl. The last one on here says August 2022.
Yeah. I'm surprised it even went that long.
Infinite hiatus, indefinite.
Oh, I was like, an infinite hiatus means they're done. That's a fancy way to say you're never making this shit anymore.
The indefinite hiatus. And they have like they had all these different magazines and it was really cute and really well produced. And I think I was in one. I was in some magazine. It might have been this one. With like a Diablo thing, because like Mineral Blue shot photos that used to end up in one of these magazines, and I don't think he takes photos for Kotaku, but I don't think Kotaku has its own printed magazine.
I think they're only digital.
So I think that maybe he also just like they used his photos, or I don't know, but I'm just looking at some of the ones right now, and like just the cover art of some of these, and I'm just looking at the different. It's kind of funny because you can kind of go on cosplayrealm.com and you can see the covers, and you can kind of scroll down and see like the cosplays, and like you can definitely see some of like the trends. I'll say.
It's got to be like kind of a flashback to look at those actually. No?
Like in 2020, it says Katsucon 2020 coverage, Fire Emblem, and it's my friend Somerset So's Bono on the front, and I'm like, that's so funny. It's like that was the year of Fire Emblem for sure.
For
Three Houses.
I think the issue that I was on was either a Nintendo one or like a women cosplay, like women character cosplays. I think it was like a Princess Peach thing, but I could not tell you which issue it was.
So the first issue was, why is there no date?
I think it came out in like 2019 or something.
2017.
17? It's been out that long?
March 10th, 2017 was the first one.
Oh my god.
The next one, was it consistent since then? Then it was April 20. Yeah.
That's I knew of it probably 2018 going into 19, like later into the year.
I mean, I will say there weren't that many issues between 2017 and 2019. There were only 24 issues. Wait, that's one a month. Yeah. I'm so stupid. Oh my god. I literally just did.
I'm not gonna hold you to it. I was gonna leave it alone. I was gonna let you edit that out.
There was only 24 issues.
Meanwhile, if you're on the front page, this one says number 64 on it.
Oh my god, there were only 24 issues in 2 years. What's so few-ish? Oh my god, I'm a clown, girl. We're moving on. Oh. We're done with that. Anyway, the magazine's dead.
Yes.
It doesn't exist anymore. I don't think any cosplay magazines
I don't think so.
Anymore.
Cosplay America will still, like, I think he's recently released another book or is working on another one.
Oh.
So, like, I think print in cosplay is still alive, just not nearly in the way it was in the before times. BC, before COVID.
Before COVID, yeah. Because there's also the only other one I can see is like Cosplay Culture, but it's like a website. I don't think it's an actual print. And then one of the top things on here is YomaCon 2018. So Yeah. Anyway, yeah, cosplay in America. Funny story. Megan Vivera is on the cover of the first edition of Cosplay in America.
Really? Wait, really?
Yeah. Megan from episode 3. Was that episode 3? 4?
Yeah.
4? I think it was 4.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she's on the cover. And there's a Garrus cosplay on the front. It's not me. It's our friend Young who made Garrus a long time ago. And he's like head to head with her on the front in Mass Effect.
Oh, I
Like they're wearing
love
Mass Effect
that.
costumes. Yeah, it's very cute.
I love
I would show it, but it's all the way in the living
Oh,
room.
yeah.
I'm not getting there right now.
That's real.
Okay, so I have one hot topic that I want to talk about. So it's not even that like crazy, but it is kind of funny. Yeah. So were you up to date on the whole like Russia Gate costume situation?
What is this? What are you talking about?
If that doesn't jog your memory, then I will just give you the TLDR. Yeah. So there was a cosplayer. I'm trying to remember her name, but I guess it doesn't even matter. I don't remember her name. Her cosplay name. Don't remember. Don't even know where she's from. I guess it doesn't matter anyway. She came out that she was buying cosplays from Russia. Like, so let me take one step. Cosplayers from Russia were making costumes for themselves, like you do, and they were like master level costumes. And then when they were done wearing them, they would list them online for sale. Wow, like you do. This woman in the US was buying these cosplays from Russian cosplayers and then taking them and competing in costume contests with them.
Oh, you're joking.
Seeing your reaction is so funny because this is the tea that spilled, like I would say right after Katsucon it came out this year. So yeah, she got called out for it because she competed in multiple contests with multiple different costumes from multiple different Russians.
Oh, wait. Not the Russian invasion. How many? I have so many questions. I'm sorry.
I will try my best to answer them. I don't know if I can.
How did people find out that she was making these purchases?
Okay, because she would win, like she won like big awards from like Anime NYC. She won like I think a Katsucon masquerade.
Oh my god.
She was winning like pretty big titles. If not best in show, she was winning like other awards, and then it was getting shared. And then just by happenstance, the girlies from Russia saw it on Twitter.
I'm entering the chat.
And they were like, "This is my costume."
That's crazy.
Oh, and then it started coming out more of them, and they were all in Cyrillic on Twitter typing.
I'd be sick.
And then the translate was translating it, and my favorite part was that I learned how to type rat in Cyrillic.
Oh no! I would be sick to my stomach if somebody was reading me and I couldn't translate it. I was like, I don't even know what you're saying.
And it was all of them. It was like at least 3 different Russian women like that were like posting about this on Twitter, and then everyone was taking it and running with it. It was quite literally a witch hunt, but also, I mean, kind of a witch thing to do.
Yeah, I mean okay. Let me be real. Cosplayers, aspiring competitors, why would you set yourself up for that kind of failure? If it's not the internet that'll find out, it's most likely the judges that will know that you probably didn't make your shit. And I don't think people really realize that like the level of questioning sometimes happens in those rooms of like how you made your stuff, what techniques did you use, what did you do for X stitch on this, you know what I mean? To like try to like, I don't know. It feels weird because it's like, why? At the end of the day, is it because you wanted a trophy?
Right, well, that's the thing.
At a nerd convention? For dressing up like a fictional it's not worth it to me.
That's the thing. What's the motivator here? Because I feel like for most people that enter these contests, the motivator is the recognition that you spent a lot of hard time and work to make something beautiful.
Right.
But the thing is, she was just buying these from Russia and then wearing them. And here's the gag too. I don't know about all the costumes, but at least one of them, it was very apparent that it didn't fit. properly because it wasn't made for her. So like she had to seam rip the arms, like the sides of the arms, she had to like seam rip them open because there was not enough space in the arm. So like from the person that made it, so in some photos from Katsucon, the arms were just open.
Jesus Christ. There's it's hard to wrap my head around because it's like, you know how many steps you got to go through to fake that? You know how many, like, you got to at least, she probably convinced herself that she did make those costumes at one point.
Oh, well, allegedly, she told the contests ahead of time that she modified them heavily. And allegedly, some of the contests were okay with that as the information provided. The modifications that were done, you can't tell because when the picture was put up by the girl from Russia and side by side to the costume, that it was the same costume.
What did you modify? Like, what did you do? Put a sticker on it?
She did one sequin,
just
one stone,
one gem here. Give him a little.
Did you stone those tights?
Your smile is beautiful.
It's just crazy. And then so basically she got called out. The whole thing like went private on Facebook, went private on her Instagram down. But here's the thing, the reason I'm bringing all this up and I'm regurgitating all of this in May is because Anime NYC now requires not only a build book, which I think is kind of 50-50 because I feel like most contests don't require a build book. I think that bringing one is customary and it helps you, but it's not required. Anime NYC requires a build book, but also they require fabric swatches.
That eats though. That kind of eats.
I have never heard of a convention requiring fabric swatches, and the reason is, I'm 99% sure, is because she entered Anime NYC and won something from there. And if you have to give a fabric swatch, how are you supposed to give a fabric swatch of a costume that's been delivered to you in the mail? Where are you cutting out? And it says the dimensions too. It says like a 1 inch by 1 inch minimum.
So you can't even like try to snip off like a little bit of like the inside
seam allowance or something.
Oh my god, that eats. Honestly, whoa, a lot of people are about to be real mad at me, but I think a lot of bigger competitions should be doing that already, and maybe even some of the smaller ones, because this is not the first instance that I've been hearing of people really like trying to usher in or sneak in purchase cosplay, especially now because cosplay fast fashion is here, and so like everybody's getting their like costumes and all these kind of things, and like I feel like they should start requiring that. No hate, no shade. But it's like, if we're talking about making in a competition and you don't make your shit, I'm sorry, you should be walking like runway or something like that. Do the fashion show.
Oh, I know.
Like, create a whole different category for you to just show off your costume and perform. If you were there to perform, have a performance category, have it separate. But if we're talking about making, too. Right? Like,
yeah, that's the thing, because like a lot of conventions in the performance skit category, there isn't always a requirement that the costume has to be made. Sometimes the skits allow for costumes to only be like either like 50, 25 or 0% made and still be eligible for awards. It's all about what the contest requires. And if the requirement is swatches, I think that's totally reasonable. I think it's just crazy that Anime NYC specifically was the one that
they're
was
like so forget last year, but this year get your ducks in order in a
literally
row.
1 inch minimum swatch size. I'm like,
I'd be petty as hell
hilarious.
too. I'd bring like a big ass swatch, like here,
a page size.
Yeah.
A page size.
8.5 by 11. Just here you go.
No, it's just crazy. And I think that she tried to resurface and like people like found her. I'm like, and okay, it's kind of the thing. It's like, I don't know what the line is before you just say, okay, they've had enough like heat. They've had enough like public disgrace. If they're changing their ways and they've determined to like not do this anymore. And I guess all you can do is take their word for it. But like should they be prohibited from competing in costume contests again? Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
But like, I mean, in terms of just cosplaying and entering back into the convention space,
it feels weird and like you said earlier, witch hunty in a way. Like some people are waiting for a downfall, and it don't matter who is falling. It doesn't matter who the person falling is, but they're just waiting for the opportunity to like gotcha somebody, or like, you know. And I think that's just like internet culture in general, since like the dawn of time in internet, with like the and I always mess up pronouncing this word, anonymity.
And yep, you got it.
Women in STEM. She engineered that shit right here. But being able to be anonymous gives people a little bit too much gusto to like say whatever they want that they wouldn't say to somebody's face. And so when somebody does something bad, even people who kind of align themselves with morally good are like, well, it's time to roast this one, and it turns into this big thing. Does she deserve to be ran out with like pitchforks and torches? No, it's not that big of a deal in a grand scheme of things. I think it is kind of egregious in a makerspace, and I don't think that she should be allowed to compete at anytime soon, if ever. But
right.
Like, does it need to be all of this? Like, why are we yelling? Why are we yelling? What's happening here?
It's relic. No.
But that is news to me, though. I did not hear about that. You said Russian Gate. My mind was really calculating. I was like, who'd they lock up?
Oh,
who's locked up in the Russian prison?
You want the drama? It's always something. It's always something here on the cosplay.
I thought you were gonna bring up the one on TikTok that happened not too long ago.
What was that?
That one we might have to talk about.
Okay. Well,
that one is
on that
crazy,
note.
Yeah.
On that note, catch it on the falafel stream session. No,
I'll give y'all the tea over there. I'm not gonna disparage the Cosplay Crunch name with this.
Our good name, our prestigious program. Oh my god. No, thank you so much for being on. I have a ball every time. I am so happy we got to catch up and that you were able to come on for season 1. Yeah, it was so much
It's an honor. Truly, like, it's always a wonderful time talking with you, catching up with you, the kiki of it all. It's always beautiful. So I'm honored. Thank you for having me on your pod.
I'm so glad. Okay, I'm gonna say a little outro, and then we're gonna come to you to get all the good information. But thank you, listeners and Falafel, for joining another episode of the Cosplay Crunch. If you would like to ask a question to one of our guests, that's so funny. We didn't do a question this week because I was ill prepared. Disclaimer. It's fine. We got to talk about plenty that I was happy. We're happy with anyway. Please email us at cosplaycrunchpod@gmail.com. We might answer your question on an episode if we feel like it. You can also follow us on Instagram at Cosplay Crunch Podcast for the latest podcast news and announcements, as well as on cosplaycrunch.com and on YouTube at the Cosplay Crunch Podcast. Also, rate us on Spotify and Apple if you like. I use Spotify, so right there. We're going to do a giveaway, and it's probably going to come by the end of the season, and which is going to be soon. And if you can show me in like a DM on Instagram or something, I don't know, we're going to logistically figure out how that works. I'll post it on Instagram that you have rated the podcast. I don't care what the rating is. I would love a 5-star. If you can't spare a 5, just show me you've rated it. Unless it's a 1 or a 2, then get that out. I don't want that. You don't enter the giveaway. I'll enter you in the giveaway, and you don't have to rate in that case. But no, we're gonna do a giveaway based on ratings on podcasts on Spotify, and we're gonna do like gift cards. We're gonna do some Cosplay Crunch merch. It'll be really, really good. You definitely don't want to miss it, and you have to listen to the podcast to rate it. I think you'd listen to like at least an episode, I believe so, or 2. Yeah, so do that. So yeah, rate us. But after all that, Karena Falafel, do you have any parting words for our listeners, and where can they find you across the internet?
Keep cosplay fun, keep cosplay inclusive, keep cosplay a little weird. You can follow me on all platforms, Phalafel Cosplays, especially on Twitch. I stream every Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Love. So, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern, regular, like every week? Or...
Every week, unless you hear anything different on Instagram.
Live. Oh my gosh, thank you so much again. I loved having you. And yeah, until next time, we will see you on the next episode, sis. Goodbye.
Bye.
The Cosplay Crunch podcast is hosted by Savage Cosplay, with post-production also by Savage Cosplay. Original theme music by Katie Fairbanks. Logo and graphic design by Owl and Coffee.